Hello and welcome to part 17 of our 45 RPM vinyl records collection here at Miami Museum. Picking up where we left off, Elton John, Rocket Man. And he's got that beautiful curly sleeve that matches the disc. B-side of the original version of Rocket Man was Susie, Dramas, 1972. I don't know that song, but it is a beautiful sleeve. I don't know. I like the colors, the way they swirl, and when we put the disc back in it, the way it kind of matches up, with the overall theme, color scheme. All right, enough of that. Moving on to the next one, we've got Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting. Get a little action in. And the B-side of the Saturday Night is a twofer with Jackrabbit and Whenever You're Ready, We'll Go Steady Again. So, you got a 150 and a 250 song there. So they're doubling up on the backside. You can clearly see the separation between the two songs in the grooves. So it's always interesting to get a 3-track 45. I've ran across a few of them, not a tremendous amount. Kind of like the EPs with the 4 songs on them. But yeah, this is a good one to have. Next up, we've got a slightly different sleeve, which I like the way. I should put Rocket Man in this one because the Rocket Record Company, some kind of rocket train there, MCA, and it does have an Elton John in it, just not Rocket Man. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. What do you gotta do to make you love me? And Shoulder Holster being on the B side of that. And this is a really different label. Maybe it's because it's from the Blue Moves album, but this label looks different than any of the other Elton Johns that I have. I just think that's kind of interesting. Most of them are these labels like this one here on this Tiny Dancer with the rainbow and the clouds and the light blue. That's the bulk of them. But then you've got those other uni ones too that are swirly, which will be the next one up. Will be another one of those. B-side of this song called Razorface, and I don't recognize that song at all. With as many hits as Elton John had, you'd think he'd been like CCR, where they were all A-sides, but not necessarily the case. Now, at least this one is kind of an original sleeve because it's got Tiny Dancer, Elton John, $2.49, printed right on the old original price tag there. So always nice to have the original sleeve with your vinyls. So oftentimes they get mixed up because of those lazy jukebox owners not putting them back in the right sleeves when they take them out. And here's an original copy of Your Song. And you can tell everybody this is your 45. And on the B-side, Take Me to the Pilot of the Storm. Another really great song. I love that song, probably even a little bit more than Your Song. But Your Song was definitely, I'm pretty positive, his first really big hit. That's kind of where he made his mark. And next up, we've got us an Elton John and Kiki D, one that most of you are probably going to recognize. Don't go breaking my heart. I wouldn't if I tried, or couldn't if I tried. And the B-side of that is Snow Queen. And that's pretty much been the case on all of the copies of that 45 that I've came across. But I guess he did another one with Nikki D. And this song here being called True Love from the album Duets. Forthcoming album, so at the time that this came out, it would have been the before the album was released. It's clearly marked as the A side, that's why I know. In 1993, so we're pushing. This is right near the end of the. We had a 94 the other day, which really shocked me because I thought 45s were pretty much all done by 92. But because 91, 92 is when they stopped giving credit to the stores for unsold copies. So it's interesting to see a 45 from this late in the game. B-side being Runaway Train, taken from the One album. And you'll notice it's marked as 92, clearly marked as the B-side. But yeah, it's interesting to see on 93, you don't see very many dates, 93, 94 on vinyls, 45 vinyls, unless you're looking at DJ materials. But anyways, moving on, we got done with the Elton Johns, and now we're up to the Elvis Presley. And we've got Hound Dog here. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Which, you know, the lyrics make a lot more sense to have a woman singing it. I think her name was Bessie May or something like that. But it was originally sung by a woman. And, you know, it makes a lot more sense for a woman to be singing You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog than for a guy. But Elvis was definitely the one that took this song on and made it a huge hit. I don't know how successful the original version was, but Elvis's was clearly very successful for him. One of his earliest songs. And the B-side being Don't Be Cruel. So here you got two really well-known, really good Elvis songs on a 45. I can't say if this was the original way it came out. The Hound Dog came with Don't Be Cruel on the B-side. I'm pretty sure Don't Be Cruel didn't come with Hound Dog on the B-side. I'm pretty sure Hound Dog is the A. But that's an earlier version. Whether it's an actual original as print as it came out or not, I don't know. Next up, we've got one of those orange Elvis labels, which a lot of my Elvises, they're either the black label with the dog or the orange labels like this. And Burning Love, Burning Love. And somebody... it's just horrible when they use masking tape. You cannot get those off without damaging the labels more often than not. Either they crystallize and fall off, or you damage the label trying to get them off. So I just tend to leave that stuff alone. It's a matter of time being on the B-side here, and you're definitely seeing some stacker wear. Somebody was playing these on a stacker, and it drops down, it's still spinning, you get that little bit of rubbing, and it just wears these labels down like that. So when you see that wear on a label, it's more often than not, it's from people playing them on stackers that would play a number of discs in a series, you know, at parties or whatever. You'd load up 4 or 5 of your favorite songs and let them play, and it would just switch them over automatically for you if you had one of those players with a stacker on it. Next up, we've got Elvis Presley doing I Got a Woman, and the B-side of that was I'm Counting on You, which I think I know I Got a Woman. I'm pretty sure I do. That's another bluesy kind of number, which Elvis did a lot of old bluesy songs. But I'm not familiar with I'm Counting on You. But here we have another orange one, In the Ghetto. Definitely know that one. That's a little bit later for sure. And the B-side of In the Ghetto was Any Day Now. Next up, we do have one that I'm very familiar with, and this was from his last film. His last film was Change of Habit with Mary Tyler Moore, and Rubberneckin'. It's called Rubberneckin', baby. And again, we've got that stackerware, probably owned by the same person that had that other Elvis that had all that stackerware on it there. Maybe it was Yvonne. Yvonne. Don't Cry, Daddy, being on the B-side. So there's another one where I know the first A-side real well, but not the B-side very well. So moving on into the 70s, I believe, but it might just be, I'm pretty sure this was early 70s. Emerson, Lake and Palmer doing Ooh, What a Lucky Man He Was, which is a really big hit for them. Probably one of their better known songs. And the B-side of that was a song called Knife's Edge. But yeah, this is a really, really good, probably my favorite song of theirs. A lot of people's favorite songs of theirs, I'm sure. Lucky Man. And then we got England Dan and John Ford Coley doing I'd Really Like to See You Tonight, which is another good song from the 70s. The B-side being a song called It's Not the Same. And now I do have 2 copies of this one. And just to show you, it's not the same. This one is not the same. It's much larger print. It's basically the same, but you'll see that they've used a different font. They've blown that print up. It's much darker, much bolder. Same years. Everything else seems to be the same. Maybe a little bit brighter, but that just could be from the fading. But if we flip it over again so you can see how small that print is compared to how they blew it up. Made it a little bit bolder and bigger. But it sounds the same. It's the same timings. It's the same song. Alright, next up we got Eric Burdon and the Animals doing Good Times. And I was just recently talked about this one. Must have been in box 10. But sometime recently we were talking about this one. And Good Times, Ozzy Osbourne did a cover of that on his Prince of Darkness box set, disc 4. And added 4 tracks to it and released it separately as a CD called Under the Covers. But yeah, this was a song that he did, supposedly at Sharon's urging. It's not a song that I think is a really great song. It wasn't one of the better covers on that disc. But it's interesting that this is where it originally came from. And the B-side being a song called San Francisco Nights, which does seem to ring a bell for me. I think I might know that song too, if I was to put it on and give it a listen. So, I'm going to wrap this one up with the last Eric Burdon and the Animals here that we've got in this box. And When I Was Young. When I was young. And a B-side being a girl named Sandoz or Sandoz. You tell me. Punctuations can be very hard, very difficult, especially if things don't sound the way they're spelled. So I'm not exactly positive how you pronounce that. But that wraps up episode 17. So come on back for part 18. We'd love to see you again.